Yeah, that's she's delivering a spirit amongst young girls. She's introducing. We've had a gangster spirit. The gangster spirit damn near wiped the young black males out. This spirit is fit to do a number on the young black girl.
Y'all, this isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is the kind of story Hollywood prays never lets see the light of day. Behind the red carpets, luxury parties, and flawless Instagram images, something far darker has been quietly whispered about. And this time, the spotlight is locked on an insider who claims she knows just how deep the rot really goes. According to explosive claims now tearing through social media, a well-known figure from the music and film world has triggered widespread panic by hinting at serious, hidden health allegations involving multiple A-list stars. No names were officially confirmed, but the implications alone were enough to send shockwaves across the industry. Sources say these allegations point to a reckless secret lifestyle, one where power, silence, and protection mattered more than consequences. Private gatherings, risky encounters, airtight NDAs, and a culture where image was guarded at all costs, even if others were allegedly put in harm's way. When the insider went live, her voice wasn't calm. It was emotional, angry, almost broken. She insisted this wasn't about clout or revenge, but about truth, accountability, and the damage caused when fame shields dangerous behavior. Almost instantly, the internet erupted. Fans questioned everything they thought they knew. Comment sections turned into war zones, and suddenly old rumors, blind items, and deleted posts resurfaced, painting a picture far more disturbing than anyone expected. But the darkest twist came next. Insiders claim the backlash wasn't random. Pressure mounted. Threats allegedly followed. Powerful figures reportedly worked overtime to discredit the messenger, not the message. Now, the question haunting Hollywood is simple. If even a fraction of these allegations are real, how many secrets are still being protected? And who ultimately pays the price for that silence? This isn't gossip anymore. This is a warning. Buckle up, because this story isn't comfortable.
Got HPV? I bet she done had chlamydia, gonorrhea, trigonometry, crabs, and whatever else that can contract. Hell, you talking about she too motherfucking nasty, mannish, filthy at the mouth, and she ain't got them high dollar weed. Everybody done.
What started as another late-night live stream turned into a moment that rattled Hollywood's walls. The kind insiders whisper about but never confirm. The kind that makes lawyers wake up, PR teams scramble, and powerful people suddenly go quiet. At the center of the storm is a woman who knows the system from the inside. Not an outsider chasing clout. Not a random voice online. Someone who lived behind the velvet ropes, attended the private gatherings, and watched firsthand how silence was bought and truth was buried. When she spoke, her voice didn't sound rehearsed. It sounded heavy, like someone carrying secrets that were never meant to see daylight. She didn't name names. She didn't need to. Instead, she described a pattern. A dark one. A culture where fame shields recklessness. Where certain high-profile figures allegedly live double lives, hiding dangerous behavior behind money, power, and carefully constructed images. Publicly flawless, privately untouchable. Her words landed like testimony, not gossip. She spoke about secrecy, about hidden encounters, about partners who trusted faces they grew up idolizing, and about how image protection allegedly mattered more than human consequences. As the live stream unfolded, viewers noticed something unsettling. She wasn't angry for attention. She was emotional, almost breaking, as if reliving moments she wished she could erase. She said this wasn't about destroying careers. It was about stopping a cycle that allegedly put innocent people at risk while the industry looked the other way. And then came the reaction. Social media didn't just react. It erupted. Old blind items resurfaced. Archived interviews were replayed. Lyrics suddenly sounded different. Fans began connecting dots that had been dismissed for years as rumors. Comment sections turned into digital courtrooms, with strangers debating guilt, responsibility, and silence.
The rap game since he was little, just like Weezy.
Yeah.
And his booty been ran through quite a bit. They called him ass naked. Whoever his big daddy was threw him out ass naked into the hallway. He was walking around in the hallway holding. has actually appeared on a magazine cover together.
Damn. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Always able to call other on being a swish. Birds of a feather flock together.
But the backlash didn't stop with the public. According to sources close to the situation, pressure mounted quickly. Calls were allegedly made. Warnings were allegedly delivered. Her credibility was questioned within hours. The narrative shifted overnight, not to address the claims, but to discredit the messenger. Because in this industry, reputation management often moves faster than truth. What made it even darker was her claim that this behavior wasn't accidental, that certain people allegedly knew the risks and still chose indulgence over responsibility, still chose secrecy over accountability, still chose protection of status over protection of others. She described an industry where NDAs are weapons, where private doctors, private parties, and private jets create a world with no witnesses, until someone decides to talk. And when she talked, the cost was immediate. Online harassment followed. Threats allegedly surfaced. Her safety became a question mark. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from, "Is this true?" to "Why would she say this?" A familiar tactic when truth becomes inconvenient. But the most haunting part wasn't what she revealed. It was what she implied. That this wasn't isolated. That this wasn't one person or one circle. That it was systemic. A culture built on silence, fear, and the protection of powerful men and women who were never told no. As news outlets cautiously reported without details, conspiracy theories exploded. Some called her brave. Others called her reckless. But no one could ignore the unease settling in, because even without names, the story felt too real to dismiss. Then came the twist that changed everything. She suggested this story didn't surface by coincidence, that she herself had been quietly blamed, targeted, and accused in private narratives, and that speaking out was the only way to stop being cast as the sole villain in a story much bigger than her. Whether that's true remains debated, but one thing is undeniable. Hollywood didn't laugh this off. The music industry didn't clap back. And the silence from certain corners has been louder than any denial. This isn't the end of the story. This is the opening statement. What comes next may be impossible to ignore. The night after the live stream, the silence felt louder than the outrage. No denials. No statements. No carefully worded apologies. Just absence. And that absence told a story all on its own. Behind the scenes, sources describe an industry scrambling to regain control. Not to clarify facts, but to contain damage. Meetings allegedly took place in private offices, far from cameras. Phone calls were made that never appeared on records. Old alliances were quietly reactivated. Because when power feels threatened, it doesn't argue publicly. It moves quietly. The woman at the center of the storm didn't disappear, though many expected her to. Instead, she appeared visibly shaken. Her posts grew shorter. Her tone shifted from defiant to drained. Those closest to her say the weight of what she had unleashed began to show on her face. She wasn't just fighting the internet. She was fighting isolation. Friends stopped returning calls. Industry peers allegedly distanced themselves overnight. Invitations vanished. Doors that once opened effortlessly were suddenly closed. Not slammed, just quietly shut, as if she no longer existed. What haunted viewers most was her emotional unraveling. She spoke less about exposure and more about regret. Not regret for speaking, but regret for believing honesty would be met with accountability. She described a world where silence is currency, where loyalty is rewarded and truth is punished, and where those who break the code are made examples of. As days passed, the online narrative shifted. Anonymous accounts began circulating counter-stories. Old clips were reposted out of context. Her character was questioned. Her motives dissected. The message was unmistakable. If the claims can't be erased, the messenger can be destroyed. But something else was happening too. Viewers began noticing patterns. Lyrics that once felt celebratory now sounded ominous. Interviews from years ago resurfaced with unsettling undertones.